Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much for calling this hearing. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009 provided $5.55 billion to the General Services Administration, $4.5 billion of which was to convert GSA buildings into high-performance green buildings in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the 4 territories. The Recovery Act's primary purpose is to stimulate economic activity through investments and preserve and create jobs, spur technological advances to enhance energy conservation, and improve infrastructure to provide long-term economic benefits for the government and for the people. The federal government and the states were responsible for addressing the badly needed infrastructure upgrades that we got done in the Recovery Act, which pushed the government's responsibilities further during the response, which pushed GSA's responsibilities further during this recession, since infrastructure construction would also create jobs during the worst recession since the Great Depression. Our goal, however, has been not only to distribute the funds quickly to spark job creation, but to ensure that these investments lead to long-term savings. We are especially grateful that a recent Congressional Budget Office report on the Recovery Act released 2 months ago shows that the Recovery Act has had a positive effect on the nation's economy. CBO estimates that the Recovery Act lowered the unemployment rate between 0.7 and 1.9 percentage points, increased the number of people employed by 1.3 million to 3.5 million Americans, and increased the number of full-time jobs by 1.8 million to 5 million, compared with what would have occurred without the Recovery Act. According to CBO, the Recovery Act saved jobs, increased job opportunities, and increased the gross domestic product by 3.5%. The Recovery Act was enacted while I chaired the subcommittee, when jobs were all that was on the country's mind. To see the quickest possible job creation, the subcommittee held 6 tracking hearings. We should give GSA credit because credit is due. GSA has awarded contracts and begun work on 273 Recovery Act projects worth $5.2 billion, which was almost all of the Recovery Act funds under their jurisdiction. As of January 2011, GSA had already completed work on 26 projects totaling $100 million. With bids for infrastructure projects coming in much lower than expected, GSA has saved the government $565 million and has redirected these funds to 17 additional projects which urgently needed infrastructure upgrades. These projects will result in the installation of 78 roofs, including 68 photovoltaic arrays on roofs, putting in place 140 light systems, installing 52 water systems, as well as completing 222 system tune-ups and recommissionings. Because of the high level of transparency and the reporting requirements the committee insisted upon, there has been an unprecedented level of accountability while implementing these projects. Moreover, the Recovery Act actually established a special recovery board composed of inspectors general of the agencies that received funds. This unusual approach ensured an environment where taxpayers' dollars would be spent quickly and well, and the posting online of projects on each project, along with our frequent subcommittee hearings, all contribute to GSA's progress in meeting the mandate to get the funds on the street quickly but carefully. Along with other federal agencies and the states, GSA stretched Recovery Act dollars further than anticipated. However, GSA should get special credit because unlike most of the agencies, GSA was not a pass-through to the states. GSA was directly responsible for getting the funds out and working working on the construction that produced the jobs. However, GSA did the work and deserves the credit. However, although GSA did the work and deserves the credit, GSA also must take responsibility for whatever issues we find, as today's hearing indicates. The success of the Recovery Act in helping the nation emerge from the Great Recession in no way negates the need for continuous, vigorous oversight by this subcommittee or suggests that there are not problems from which GSA and the subcommittee can learn. Our subcommittee continues to bear a direct responsibility for the stimulus funds under our jurisdictions. Again, I want to thank Chairman Denham for continuing these oversight efforts. Today, we will focus our oversight on the renovation and modernization of the Richard H. Poff Federal Building in Roanoke, Virginia, funded by the Recovery Act. The Poff Building was constructed in 1975, is owned by the government, and is approximately 316,000 gross square feet of space occupied by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the U.S. Courts, the U.S. Marshal Services, and other agencies. Although the building is 35 years old, it has never had a comprehensive modernization. The Recovery Act modernization of the Poff Building includes the replacement of the window curtain wall, installment of an HVAC system, renovations of the bathrooms, upgrades to the lighting fixtures, and the installation of new sustainable roofs, including a solar system to generate electricity. This project will increase the life of this federal asset and will result in a high-performing, energy-efficient federal building and ensure that the federal investment in space the government owns is preserved, ensuring the highest and best use and its continuing contribution to the federal building fund, as well as avoiding the need for rental space for these agencies. However, in reviewing this particular project, the GSA Inspector General has raised concerns about whether the procurement for this project met competition requirements and whether GSA has an adequate system of controls to ensure that the Poff Building project met competition requirements. GSA has concurred with both findings of the IG report and is committed to implementing its recommendations. In addition, the U.S. representative from Roanoke, Virginia, and the 2 U.S. senators from Virginia have raised concerns about the impact of the operations of the Roanoke Veterans Affairs Regional Office, the building's largest tenant, and the efficacy of the energy improvements. We need to hear from GSA about what gave rise to the problems in order to ensure that they have been ameliorated and will not occur again. I encourage GSA to allocate funds to projects that provide the best return in maintaining our public building inventory and putting even more Americans to work. I look forward to hearing from the witnesses today about the modernization of the Poff Building and the cost-benefit analysis used in selecting this project for modernization. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.